here are probably the big three when it comes to websites for volunteering and getting volunteers. NYC Service is run by the City of New York. It's been in operation for about 2.5, 3 years. It's absolutely free. So you can put an opportunity there for someone, or if you're interested in volunteering, you can go there and see what's around. If your computer is having a case of the Mondays, you can even call 311 and get some information about volunteering. So that's a great site. Idealist has got to be the website everyone thinks of with not-for-profits. More jobs than volunteer opportunities, but once again, really an important place to look for things and to be seen, also free. And the third one that I've always found to be very useful is Volunteer Match. And I think one of the reasons Volunteer Match turns out to be so useful is if you type volunteer into a search engine, Google or one of the others, guess what comes up? Something like Volunteer Match. So there are 3, and they're really worth looking at. Then I put a couple of other websites. One is New York Cares. New York Cares mostly does team volunteering kinds of things. And they mostly work with large corporations. Right? So they'll go to a corporation and they'll create team volunteering things for that corporation's employees. But they also take people from outside the corporation as well. And if you have a need for a group of people to do something, it's usually a one-day kind of thing. That's a great place to know about it. And if you work in a corporation, if you're interested in volunteering, that might be a way to get started if you've never done any volunteer work before. And what kinds of things do? They might clean up a park, they might paint a senior citizens home, a whole bunch of things like that. That's kind of fun too. The last group I put up there is Taproot. And Taproot started in San Francisco but has an active New York presence here. And what Taproot does is in a certain set number of areas, there are about 8 or 9 of them, things like designing a website and creating a final report and things like that. They'll put together a team of professionals who'll spend a few months on that. Now, the thing to know about Taproot, 2 things to know about Taproot. One is they do charge the arts group. It's not very much, but they do. The second thing is that they look for an arts group, not just an arts group, they look for a not-for-profit. Look for a not-for-profit that has a budget of about $350,000 and 2 full-time employees. I'm not sure Green Inspired Art's ever going to get there, but if it does, I'm certainly going to go and take a look. But it's worth seeing what they do and how they do it. Okay. Use the contacts you know if you're trying to get the word out about either a volunteer opportunity or looking for them. A lot of large companies post volunteer opportunities for their employees. Some of them run volunteer fairs. Most of that gets coordinated through a function called corporate social responsibility. So if you work in a large company or you have a friend who works in a large company, that's where to go to look for that kind of action. There are community groups, religious groups, and so on, and schools and universities that will often post volunteer opportunities. So you're doing something and you're looking for volunteers, and there's a college not too far away, and it seems like a nice match. It's worth talking to them and seeing if that's where you can get some volunteers, and it's worth taking a look at that as well. Finally, there are specialized organizations for professionals like lawyers who will make lawyers available on a pro bono basis or close to a pro bono basis. So the New York City Bar Association is worth talking to if you're looking for legal help. It's a group called Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts, and it's got to be volunteer lawyers for other disciplines as well. Again, take a look at that because that's a worthwhile thing to do.